In this episode, I'm going to take a look at my top 5 favorite features in Microsoft 365, as well as those 5 features that just make you go, you know the ones, right? Stay tuned and you'll learn something. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. How are you? Well, it's only a week to go before Christmas. Are you all excited? I think I am. On this episode, I thought I would take a look at my top 5 features in Microsoft 365 that I absolutely love, as well as those top 5 cringeable features that you just think, come on guys, this is not good, right? And I'm sure you've all got your list, and I would love to know what yours are, by the way, if you had a list. So make sure that you get that list down below. Now, hey, listen, I got a big favor to ask you. I am only less now than 200 away from 100,000 subscribers, and I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you all if you've subscribed. Just to say as well that if you have subscribed, you are definitely a founder member of this channel, and I really do appreciate it. So if you're not subscribed, then come on board. Hit that subscribe button now. Come on, you could be number 100,000. Okay, how cool would that be? And just to mention, if you've got any questions about this or any of my other videos, of course, just get those down below. And if you like today's video, then please bump the like button up there. It does make a difference. Okay, so I think without any further ado, let's jump in and look at my 5 best and cringeable features in Microsoft 365. And let's see if your list matches mine. So in terms of my top 5 worst features, I have to give the number 5 prize to OneDrive for Business. Now, some of you may disagree with this one. And to be fair, it has gone from strength to strength. So you can see that the interface here has been updated. Again, we now have the additions of PDF, PowerPoint, and again, essentially these are filtering tools. The one annoying thing, however, is the sync feature. I'm an Apple guy, as many as you know, and I use Apple iCloud, and iCloud is seamless syncing. I've never had any kind of issues, and it syncs all across the devices, and Microsoft just never seem to quite get this one right, which is a real shame actually. And also another really annoying thing is, yes, we have the recycle bin, so anything that you delete goes into the recycle bin, and you can go in there up to 30 days and pull that back. However, we have a couple of really useful features up here as well, and again, these are kind of buried away here. And you've got this great feature here called Restore Your OneDrive, and there's also the sync tool there as well. And with restoring your OneDrive, you can actually select a particular date, and you can do a custom time frame, and you can specify, hey, these are the files that I want to restore back. It's a great feature. Come on, Microsoft. You don't need to bury it there where nobody can see it. You definitely need to have that down here. So that's the reason why it's my number 5. Coming in at my number 5 for the best features, it has to be Power Automate. This is an incredible platform for automating tasks. Now over here you can see that you can also create from a huge number of templates here. So there are literally a ton of different templates, and it will just basically automate everything. So for example, when a new email is added in Microsoft Teams, then automatically send them an email. And you can see that it can be as simple or as it can be as complex as you want. In this example, you can see here when an email is sent in Microsoft Teams, it will forward it to Microsoft Outlook, and that is so useful. So you simply just sign in, click on continue, and you simply just generate that. Now, and that's it. That is your automation. How cool is that? And again, you can change that. You can customize it. There are also advanced options that you can do, and it's surprisingly easy to use. Now, the other thing that I really, really like actually is the fact that it's now integrated, of course, with Microsoft Copilot. So you can simply click into the box. There are some great examples here. So, for example, when a tweet is posted, post a message to the Teams channel just to let them know. And you can see here, there's a trigger here essentially, which is followed by an action. And essentially all I do is just go, yeah, that's the flow that I want to create, and it will create that flow for you. So the other things that you can also do, you can go in, there's approvals that you can configure, there's a huge number of solutions that you can use. And of course, if you want to create or generate your own AI, you've got those capabilities as well. So definitely take a look at Power Automate. It absolutely rocks. And that is my number 5. So for my number 4 of least favorite features, I would have to say it's Teams. Now, I'm sure many of you are going to disagree with it. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic platform, but it's also an extremely busy platform, and it's constantly changing, and the number of UI changes are really quite overwhelming. But in terms of practicality, it's not so much an application, it's now becoming more of an ecosystem. So you have the capabilities to chat, of course, you've got multiple teams, you've got shared channels now, of course, you've got calendars, calling, you've got files, and it also integrates seamlessly with third-party apps, including the new Viva Connections tab, which I actually really like. But what makes it really stand out is you've got Microsoft 365 groups, of course, but you can essentially bring in hundreds or even thousands of third-party apps, which really do make it this enormous ecosystem. Now, of course, if you've been living on Mars in the last few weeks, then you'll know that there is a new Teams feature. And this is a new Teams. This is 2 teams, and I can switch to new teams. And essentially, this gives it me in dark mode. So if you're an IT guy and you work at night, this is going to be perfect for you. However, you'll notice that there are a couple of potential little bugs in it. So again, depending on the browser that you're using, you may or you may not see the channels. So for example, here I'm in the Edge browser and everything looks good, whereas if I'm in the Bing browser, you can't actually see the channel tabs, which is a little frustrating. Again, also with the Teams app, there are a few bugs that really need to be ironed out. Now, in terms of the app, actually, I have to say that the app is actually pretty good. It's been rewritten from the ground up, and it's really quite fast now. The number one bugbear, of course, is if you have multiple teams multiple organizations that you're a member of, you do still need to log out and log back in again, which is really frustrating. But of course, that's the reason why we have shared channels. So again, you may or may not agree with me, but for this list, Teams is my number 5 of least favorite features. So for my number 4 of favorite features, I'm coming into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and I'm clicking on Identity, and this is bringing me into Entra ID. Here in the Entra ID Admin Center, we have this new feature called Global Secure Access. Now, although it's currently only still in public preview, and don't ask me about licensing and costs because nothing's been released yet, and typically VPN for corporates can be very complicated and very expensive. So essentially all I do is simply activate it onto my tenant, and once it's activated, I can now enjoy some of the features of Global Secure Access. Okay, so now that it's done, you can see we can now get started. And of course, there's a couple of things that you can do. So I can specify, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to do private internet access, or do you want to provide corporate access, for example, for the purpose of running an application? So the quick access tool here allows you, I can go in and I can add in, for example, an application. So if I want to provide provide secure access for, let's say, business applications and so on, I can do that here. Now, the other thing that you might want to do, of course, is you might want to connect your devices. So this is part of Microsoft's Zero Trust feature, which completely integrates with the likes of conditional access. So not only can you manage the user, you can manage the traffic forwarding for that device simply by, first of all, downloading the client either for Windows, Android, iOS, and now, of course, Mac OS as well. So I'm planning to do a full demo on this very, very shortly. So again, you can set up remote networks. You can set up a private internet access for enterprise-based applications. And again, you've got a corporate dashboard here, and you can configure a number of security policies, for example, here as well. So definitely go ahead and have a look at Global Secure Access. Super exciting. Two features, as I've said, you've got the Microsoft Entra Private Access, which you can set up today, but the Microsoft Entra Internet Access, if I click onto this, you can see you can, first of all, it tells you how it works, but to be honest, this is still in private preview at the moment. So other things that you can do once you've deployed the client, you can obviously secure it with security profiles, and also you can configure things like web content filtering policies. So for example, if it's a corporate laptop, corporate desktop, you might not want users seeing or gaining access to certain websites or content. So again, for safety and security features, Global Secure Access is really useful. So again, a Secure Service Edge solution, courtesy of Microsoft's Global Secure Access, is my number 4. So for my number 3, I want to talk about the inconsistencies in the UIs, and they are a little bit annoying. So for example, here I can come into, for example, administrative units in Entra ID, and if I create a new administrative unit, I've got the option to create the new restricted management unit, which I've covered in the past, which is a very cool feature. However, if I come into Microsoft 365, do the same thing, that option is not available, and the only way to configure it here is through PowerShell. Again, just little things that just are a little bit annoying. Other things as well are inconsistencies in the general UIs. So, for example, when developers produce tools, they are in modules. So there are different teams producing these various tools. So if I go into label policies here and select a policy, there is nowhere on the menu that I can edit the policy. I actually have to go into the policy before I can actually do it here. And I don't know about you, but that's just a little bit annoying. Whereas on many of their other tools, you can select the policy and sure enough, you've got the edit policy in the menu here. And in some cases, it just says edit, and in many cases, it just has the little pencil. Again, just little inconsistencies that you may find annoying. For my number 3 of favorite features, I have to take my hat off to Microsoft Forms. It's a fantastic, really, really useful tool. You can create forms based on your business, your personal use, student, teacher. You can create them from forms, and you can even create a new quiz as well, as you can see here. So in the past, there are a ton of different templates that you can use. And one of the cool things about the forms is that, for example, if I go into one here is a form that I've created in the past, and you can see that this indeed is an actual quiz. And I can gather the responses from the students, I can post the scores to the students, you can export it to Microsoft Excel, and you can even present the answer. So I could, for example, be going through a little quiz. I can choose how I want to present it and go through the answers with the various students. So super cool and super flexible. I absolutely love Forms, and I think it's such a powerful and easy tool to use. And of course, I can generate QR codes and links to share the form across websites and emails. So Forms, my number 3. So my number 2 of least favorite features has to go to Viva Engage. Formerly known as the artist called Yammer, Microsoft continue to go crazy with collaboration. So again, and generally if you're a large company, you might use this, but essentially this was Microsoft's attempt at creating a company social network, of course. That's, of course, before they bought LinkedIn. But now, of course, we don't only have LinkedIn, but we've got Teams, we've got Outlook. It's like, how many different places do we need to collaborate? So for me, Yammer or Viva Engage, whatever you want to call it, for me, it's a dead dog with fleas. That is definitely my number 2. Okay, coming in at number 2 of my favorite features has to be Microsoft Bookings. This is such a great tool and so easy to configure. So in this example, I'm taking on the role of a restaurant called Gators. So I've created my logo, I'm choosing my business type, which in this case is going to be a restaurant, but it can be absolutely anything that you want. Now in this example, I'm setting up a couple of administrators, so I'm bringing in Adele or perhaps Megan even, and you can choose the different role, whether you want it to be a team member, an admin, it might be a public, so you can have somebody as a scheduler, a viewer, a guest, and so on. So again, you can choose those different roles, and it's such an easy tool to set up. And the great thing is there is a bookings app, and for example, your customers can book you. I use this personally all the time, I gotta say. So you simply set up your working hours. So in this case, you choose how long you want an appointment to be. So for example, it could be in a restaurant, it could be an hour, 2 hours, whatever you want to configure. In this case, it's not a Teams meeting, so I don't need to book a Teams meeting, but that's a useful feature, by the way. And again, that'd be quite useful for sales, I suppose. Then you can set up, obviously, your various services. So in this case, I'm going to set up my, for example, table booking for my restaurant. Again, this is super easy to set up. Yeah, I'm just setting this up here. So you can obviously choose your opening hours here. In this case, Monday to Friday. I've gone ahead and said that it's just 9 to 5. But again, you can adjust those settings if you want to. Microsoft love feedback, by the way. So again, make sure that you give them feedback on these products, as it's really good. So choose who can obviously book appointments. So again, you might have a dedicated scheduler. In this case, because it's maybe a public restaurant, I'm just going to say anyone, which of course could potentially include guests as well. So to create a new booking, simply you just go into the date here, put in the customer name. So I'm just making one up here, Bob Smith. Now you could put in his email address, phone number, contact details. And again, I'm assigning it to a particular waitress or a particular hairdresser or a doctor or whoever it is within your company. So there you have it. Number 2, bookings, one of my favorite features. So for my number 1 of most hated features, it has to be Microsoft licensing. If you can make sense of it, then you're a better person than me. It's an absolute minefield of options and choices and add-ons. And if you think, hey, it's okay, I've got an E5 subscription that's got everything, no, you don't. There's an ever-increasing list of add-ons for Entra ID, Microsoft Teams. You've now got premium versions of products. So I wonder if there's going to be an E7 or something like that might come out eventually. But it's an absolute minefield of trying to find your way around. One really useful website that will help is this. This is m365maps.com. And this guy, Aaron, he keeps everything really up to date. It's absolutely fantastic. So you can just simply come in here and, for example, I can go into the feature matrix. And this is what I tend to use all the time. So essentially, you just basically choose to select none. And let's say you're comparing the E3 with the E5. How simple is that? So it just shows you what features are available on the E3 compared to the E5. And this is an absolutely fantastic tool that will help you circumvent the troubles that folks have with Microsoft licensing. So coming in at number 1 of my favorite features, No, it's not Microsoft Stream. Actually, Microsoft Stream was going to be my least favorite feature. However, I'm really glad to say that things have changed. So you can not only upload videos, you can do screen recording, camera recording, you can create a playlist, and if you're using Microsoft Teams, of course, that can include Teams meetings that you've possibly recorded. But I'm so glad to tell you that what's actually come in now is Clipchamp. So Clipchamp has been available for a number of different licensing, but now Microsoft have rolled it out for everyone. And if you've not seen this, it's absolutely awesome feature. And I use video editing tools all the time, as you can imagine. So again, it's just a simple case of dragging content in here, and you can easily edit it. You can change text, you can edit a video here, of course, and do everything that you would in like traditional editing. And there are some fabulous tools. You can even record the screen and the camera. You can record your webcam. You can add in different music tracks, and these are all free to use as well. Again, there is also some stock video photos here as well. Just one thing to mention, depending on your license, there's also a premium license that you may need to pay a little bit more for. If you're in Microsoft 365, Business Premium, Enterprise, whatever, this is an absolutely fantastic feature. You can add in transitions and all kinds of things. So what I'm going to do, let's just have a little play with this. So I'll bring in a little video here. So this is a title sequence. And then once I've done that, I might say, hey, okay, what do I want to do? I might want to record the camera. And a couple of cool things. It puts in a nice background, and of course you can change that if you want to. You can choose from a huge number of backgrounds, including a green screen. So if you want to add in your own kind of YouTube studio or something like that, you can do that. You can customize the audio. When you're ready, of course, you just go ahead and you start recording. Hey, welcome to the session. I'm Andy Malone. I hope you are enjoying YouTube. Then, of course, we can just edit that. We can stop it, click on next. So again, I can now bring that in. You might want to, for example, have a nice kind of special effect. Now, other things that you've also got up here on the right-hand side, rather, you can fade sound out. You've got a number of different color filters here that you can use. So it's an absolutely awesome feature. And I'm so glad to say that it integrates seamlessly into Microsoft Stream. So I definitely recommend having a look at Clipchamp. It's an absolutely awesome tool. There we go. That's my number one. So there you have it, my top 5 awesome and slightly cringeable features in Microsoft 365. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hey, listen, does that kind of match your list? If it doesn't, I would love to know what you think. So make sure you get those comments down below. And remember, if you have not subscribed, I'd love you to come on board and become a founder member of my channel. Okay, bump that subscribe button up there and ring that bell. Okay, that's it for today. I'll see you next time. You take care. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.